So as my final project, I created a program to predict the relative probability that a user learned to read and write phonetically or non-phonetically. Let's take, for instance, the word cat. A phonetic reader might read this by starting by identifying this letter, C, and its sound, k. Next, they would move to the A and its sound, a, and finally the T and its sound, t. Putting this all together, k, a, t, would make cat. On the other hand, a non-phonetic reader may simply identify the letter C, the letter A, and the letter T, and know that this specific sequence of these letters corresponds to the word cat. To start, I needed a dataset. Specifically, I wanted a dataset where I could see sample spellings from those who learned to read phonetically and those who learned to read non-phonetically. Unfortunately, this presented a great gap in the research as this area is really understudied. Thus, I had to create my own dataset. While I understand that this means that the data may not be entirely reliable, the goal of the project is more to create a framework in which we could make predictions. Therefore, if we were to get better and more reliable data, the framework would be accurate or more accurate. To create my dataset, I first picked a set of 11 words. These words were a mix of English and made-up words. However, they all followed the phonotactic constraints of the English language. So they are up here. And basically, I had non-phonetic spellers and phonetic spellers try and write these words based on, the vocalization and pronunciation of it. So at this point, I have a list of words, some real, some not real, and I have a list of attempted spellings from both non-phonetic readers and phonetic readers. So I needed to essentially analyze this and create some sort of distribution for the non-phonetic spellers and the phonetic spellers. So I needed some sort of numerical way to kind of score each spelling. And to do this, basically, I converted all of these words, the original words, and the input words or attempted spellings of the words to IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. And then, using the Jaro similarity metric, I calculated a numerical similarity and returned that, and that was essentially my score. So let's take an example of the word laugh, which was actually one of the words that I gave people. So if you take this and you convert it to IPA, it looks like this. Now let's say that a student attempted to spell the word laugh as L-A-F-F. They would have actually a similarity index of 1.0, because even though these aren't spelled the same in English, in IPA they are, and that's what we're concerned about. We're concerned with how phonetic somebody is spelling a word, rather than if it's correct or not. On the other hand, if the attempted spelling was like this, leaf, this is spelled in IPA like this. So obviously different than laugh, and therefore the similarity index would be something below 1.0, maybe 0.8, 0.9, something like that. So having this numerical way to calculate phonetic similarity, I was able to basically create a bunch of distributions. So each word, each of the 11 words I had originally created, had two distributions. A similarity index distribution for non-phonetic spellers and a similarity index distribution for phonetic spellers. So obviously these distributions, because they were normal distributions, they had a mean and variance for the similarity index between the original spelling and the attempted spelling. This way, once I got inputs from the readers, so basically they attempted to spell the same words that were in the data set, and for each of these words, I was able to calculate the probability that it came from the word's phonetic distribution versus the word's non-phonetic distribution. Now, multiplying all of these, I got the joint probabilities, and when I divided them, I got the comparative probabilities right here. Next, I will show you how it works. So when the program is run, it says, "Welcome, throughout this test, we will try to figure out the method in which you learn to read. While some people learn to read phonetically, spelling based on the sound of each word, others learn to write by pure memorization. For each word, listen to the audio and input your best guess at the spelling of the word. Do not worry if some of the words sound odd. They are not all real English words. Each audio will play once before you are asked to input a guess on the spelling. If you would like to hear the audio again, simply type repeat. Ready?" And now I'm demonstrating.
Blarb. Door. Bund. Bund. Lawned. Pfeiffer. Weird. LARP. Feint. Fortree. Torp. laugh,
And now it says you are this many times more likely to have learned to read and write phonetically.